In 2024, DeepSeek V2 was released. With modifications around how attention is computed between tokens, it led to a KV cache memory reduction by more than 90% compared to the previous version of DeepSeek. This video is going to get into how exactly they managed to do it and how attention was modified. Larger KV caches not only consume more GPU memory, but moving these large memory blocks also takes time. And on modern GPUs, computation is often faster, which means that the compute cores end up sitting idle waiting for the data to arrive from memory. So reducing KV cache size becomes extremely important for fast LLM inference. Now KV cache memory is directly proportional to sequence length times number of heads times head dimension. Different attention mechanisms reduce different parts of this equation. Multi-query and grouped query attention, which we looked at earlier in this series, reduce the number of heads by allowing multiple query heads to share the same key and value vectors. Sliding window attention, covered in previous video, reduces the sequence length factor by attending only to nearby tokens within a fixed window, so the size of cache never needs to grow larger than window size. DeepSeek's Multi-Head Latent Attention, or MLA, tackles the head dimension itself through latent compression. In standard self-attention, for each token, we compute query, key, and value representations for every attention head. Intuitively, different attention heads learn to focus on different relationships between tokens. We then compute dot products between queries and keys to determine how strongly one token should attend to another. These attention weights are then used to aggregate the value representations across tokens. During inference, recomputing keys and values for every previous token at every generation step would be extremely expensive. So instead, we store the already computed K and V representations inside a cache. In multi-head latent attention, we no longer compute keys and values directly from the token representation. Instead, we first transform each token into a much smaller shared latent representation. This is a single compressed vector per token. This latent representation is then projected into key and value representations for all attention heads using two learnable projection matrix. So rather than storing full K and V vector for every head for every token, the KV cache only needs to store these compressed latent representations for every token, which dramatically reduces memory usage. Unfortunately, if we stopped here, the computational benefits would actually be much smaller than you might expect. We'll soon see why, but first let's visualize the full computation using the projection matrix involved at each step. In standard attention, token representations are projected into Q, K, and V using three learnable weights WQ, WK, and WV. Each of these three projection matrix has the same shape: transformer hidden dimension cross number of heads times head dimension. After attention weights are computed, value vectors are aggregated independently for each head. These outputs are then combined and projected back into a d-dimensional representation. And through a residual connection, contextual information gets integrated into each token's representation. In MLA, instead of directly computing K and V, token representations are first compressed into a latent shared KV representation using a projection matrix WDKV, which is of shape D cross D latent. This produces a D latent dimensional representation for each token, and this D latent is much smaller than D, as well as number of heads times head dimension. We then use separate projection matrix to reconstruct keys and values for all attention heads. For both K and V, these would be of shape D latent cross number of heads times head dimension. So instead of storing full K and V tensors for every token and every head, the KV cache now only stores these compressed latent vectors for every token. Now earlier I mentioned that simply compressing K and V like this still doesn't provide the full efficiency gains that you might expect. So next, let's understand the key optimization that makes MLA truly efficient, the weight absorption trick. Firstly, let's see why naively implementing MLA doesn't give us the efficiency benefits we actually want. We begin with an input representation X in a d-dimensional space. We transform it into a shared latent KV representation using a down projection matrix WDKV of shape D cross D latent. This produces a compressed latent vector CKV. We then use another up projection matrix to reconstruct keys for all heads. WUK is of shape D latent cross number of heads times DH. And similarly, we also do the same up projection for values. Now remember why we introduced latent compression in the first place. Since traditional KV cache memory scales with number of heads times head dimension times sequence length, so instead of caching full keys and values, MLA only caches the compressed latent vectors CKV. And since D latent is much less than number of heads times head dimension, we should be able to get large memory savings. Great. But here's the problem. During attention computation, if we still reconstruct keys for the entire sequence, then we end up allocating memory for key tensors which are of shape sequence length times number of heads times DH, which is essentially the same scale as KV cache memory of standard attention. So even though the KV cache itself became smaller, we are still recreating these huge tensors during computation and allocating memory for them. There's actually another problem. To reconstruct keys, we need the matrix multiplication of CKV with WUK. The compute cost of this operation scales roughly as sequence length times D latent times number of heads times head dimension. Now this computational cost itself becomes extremely expensive for large sequence lengths. In standard inference, we avoided this cost completely because keys and values were already cached. So naive MLA still ends up doing a huge amount of extra computation. The key insight for making MLA efficient is, what if we never reconstructed keys at all, and same for values? And this is where the weight absorption trick comes in. Our attention scores are computed using QK transpose. Now let's expand the query and key terms. Query is product of input X with weight matrix WQ. And key is product of the shared latent CKV with the up projection matrix WUK. And we have K transpose. Using the fact that AB transpose equals B transpose A transpose, we get XWQ, WUK transpose, and CKV transpose. And here comes the simple but really important part. We are going to be computing the product of WQ and WUK transpose first. WQ, D cross number of heads times DH, and WUK transpose is number of heads times DH cross D latent. The term on the right is just CKV transpose, our shared latent representation. Now let's focus on this term, product of WQ and WUK transpose. Notice that this depends only on model weights. It does not depend on the input sequence, right? So once the model is trained, it's going to be the same at every forward pass. So we could recompute this once ahead of time and reuse it for all inference steps. This is the weight absorption step. We absorb the key up projection weights into the query projection weights. If you look at all the shapes of terms involved, you can see that this gives us our n cross n attention matrix. But instead of reconstructing full keys, storing large tensors, and computing attention in a high dimensional space, we directly project queries onto the latent space and compute attention against the cached latent vectors themselves. So keys are never explicitly reconstructed at all. And that is what makes MLA both memory efficient and computationally efficient. Now throughout this derivation, we wrote everything as a single large matrix multiplication, basically to keep the notation simple. But attention is computed separately for each individual head, with each head producing its own attention matrix rather than one single n cross n matrix. And then the outputs from all heads are aggregated. In the next section, we'll go through a simplified implementation and we'll see how this math actually translates into multi-head tensor shapes and how the weight absorption trick works across individual heads in practice. Let's now compare standard MHA, naive MLA, and optimized MLA with the weight absorption trick. And simultaneously, let's also connect the math back to an actual implementation. In standard multi-head attention, queries, keys, and values are all directly computed from the input representation X using their respective projection matrix. The attention scores are then computed using QK transpose. For simplicity, throughout this section, I'll ignore the batch dimension entirely, and we'll assume we are specifically working in inference mode and using KV cache, which means the query representation only needs to be computed for the newest token, while keys and values already exist for the full sequence. So query inputs will be of shape 1 cross D, while key and value correspond to the entire context and are of shape T cross D, where T is the sequence length. In naive multi-head latent attention, the query pathway remains unchanged. But for keys and values, we first compute the shared latent representation CKV. We then reconstruct full keys and values using two separate up projection matrices, which project the latent vectors back into the full multi-head space. In optimized MLA with weight absorption, we never explicitly reconstruct keys or values at all. So let's now see how this works in an actual implementation. For this code walkthrough, we'll loosely follow one of the DeepSeek MLA implementations with a few simplifications. We'll ignore masking and positional encoding, so that way only the core MLA logic remains visible. First, during initialization, we define the query projection layer WQ, latent down projection WDKV, in code I've actually called it WCKV, and the two up projection matrix WUK and WUV. For simplicity, I'll also assume D, the transformer's hidden dimension, equals number of heads times head dimension. Notice how the KV cache also changes. In standard attention, we cache full keys and values, but in multi-head latent attention, we only cache single compressed latent representation for every token, which is why the cache tensor now stores vectors of dimension D latent instead of the much larger multi-head representation. Now let's step through the forward pass. And on the right side, I'll continuously show the tensor shapes so you can pause and inspect them more carefully if needed. We first compute the query representation for the newest token using WQ. After reshaping into multiple heads, the query tensor becomes of shape number of heads cross 1 cross head dimension. The sequence dimension here is 1 because during KV cache inference, we only generate query for the last token. Next, we compute the compressed latent representation, which is CKV, but only for the newest token. After concatenating this with the cached latents for all previous tokens, this tensor now represents the entire sequence. Now comes the important reshaping step. The up projection matrix originally have shape D latent cross number of heads times DH, but we reshape them into number of heads cross head dimension cross D latent. That way every attention head gets its own projection slice. Now instead of reconstructing keys explicitly, we perform the absorption trick. The absorb term is WQ WUK transpose. In the code, queries already contain the XWQ part, so we take that and we multiply them directly with the reshaped key up projection weights. This effectively projects queries directly onto the latent space. So instead of computing full keys, we have actually now obtained latent space queries of shape number of heads cross 1 cross D latent. These latent queries are then multiplied with CKV transpose, and this produces attention scores for every head. So attention is now being computed directly against the cached latent vectors without ever reconstructing keys. After applying softmax, we move to value aggregation. And here also, we are going to avoid explicitly reconstructing values. Normally, we would compute alpha v, where alpha is the attention scores, and v equals product of CKV and WUV. But instead, we first aggregate the latent vectors themselves using the attention weights. This gives us one aggregated latent representation per head. After this aggregation, now we'll apply the value up projection. So rather than projecting every token into value space first, we only project the already aggregated latent. This avoids another large matrix multiplication for us. Finally, we combine all heads together and apply the output projection, WO. And this will give us the contextualized representation for the newest token. After the attention layer, this output is going to be added back to the input representation using residual connection. That is the core implementation of MLA. Now this is still a simplified version of multi-head latent attention, but it should give you a solid understanding of the core ideas. To get to the exact version used in the paper, there are two additional modifications that you need to do. First, the authors also apply low-rank compression to queries. So instead of directly computing queries using WQ, they first compute a compressed query latent CQ using a down projection matrix WDQ, and then reconstruct query representation for all heads using another up projection matrix. So the query side ends up looking very similar to what we already did for keys and values. The second modification involves rope or rotary positional embeddings. Modern transformers often use rope to inject positional information directly into queries and keys. They do this by rotating them before attention computation, and the rotation angle depends on the position of the token. But this creates a problem for MLA. Remember, the whole efficiency gain of MLA comes from never explicitly reconstructing keys during attention. Unfortunately, once rope gets introduced, the rotation terms end up sitting between WQ and WUK, which basically is going to break the weight absorption trick that we used. So if we naively applied rope, we would again need to reconstruct keys, defeating most of the MLA's efficiency advantage. To solve this, the authors decouple positional information from the latent attention path. Each query head gets a small additional positional component with R dimensions. Similarly, on the key side, every token gets an additional positional key vector. Do note that on the keys side, this is shared across all heads. So that way this can be cached without bumping up memory significantly. Somewhat very similar to multi-query attention. These smaller positional vectors are the only components on which rope is applied. Attention is now computed using two separate parts, one latent attention term and one positional attention term. The latent component still uses the weight absorption trick without explicitly reconstructing keys. Meanwhile, the positional component computes attention normally, using the smaller rope vectors. Finally, both attention scores are simply added together to produce the final attention matrix for each head. So positional information is preserved, while most of the computation still happens efficiently inside the compressed latent space. The authors of DeepSeek V2 compare the KV cache size per token between different attention mechanisms. And that is a nice way to end the video, as it covers not just MHA, but also multi-query and grouped query attention as well, which we have covered in previous videos. In multi-head attention, we cache keys and values for every head, every token, and every layer. This gives us the highest representational capacity, but also the largest KV cache memory. Multi-query attention drastically reduces KV cache by sharing a single key and value across all heads, removing the head scaling factor entirely. But this also reduces model performance. Grouped query attention sits somewhere in the middle, by allowing groups of query heads share keys and values. Its memory usage is higher than MQA, but its performance is much closer to full multi-head attention. Multi-head latent attention takes a completely different approach. Instead of sharing full keys and values, it compresses them into a shared latent representation while keeping most of the representational power of standard attention. Only a small positional component, DR, needs to be cached separately. The authors use 4DH as the latent dimension and an additional DH by 2 positional dimensions, which gives an effective KV cache size of roughly 4.5 DH per layer. So this means DeepSeek's MLA is similar to using GQA with only about 2.25 groups, while still maintaining performance comparable to, and in some cases even better than, standard multi-head attention. With this, we have covered all core details behind multi-head latent attention. Compress the KV cache aggressively and restructure the computation so that the expensive high-dimensional keys and values never need to be explicitly reconstructed during attention. That combination is what allows DeepSeek V2 to significantly reduce memory usage while still scaling to very long context lengths efficiently.